Tonight our title of our webinar is called Marketing Your Business Using Zero Cost or Low Cost Marketing Strategies. And we're going to cover a number of things. We're going to take about 45 minutes this evening to go through all the material. We've been told on our registration forms not to repeat ourselves so much, so we'll try and make that reality tonight. And if you have any questions throughout the webinar, just type them in the panel below, and we'll get to them as we go through the webinar. So we'll make a start then. I suppose just before we start, we'll just get through some introductions and say who we are, etc. So the goal is to leave you with some strategies that you can implement tomorrow in your business that won't cost you a cent. And we'll leave you with some other ones then that may cost you a little bit of money, but they should yield some good rewards for you. And as usual with these webinars, we're going to give you a special offer at the end of the night, which we hope you take advantage of, because again, we think it's going to add some euros to your business as well. So just before we get started, I'll just give you a brief introduction about myself. I'm a business coach with Action Coach. I've been coaching for the past 9 years, since 2002. I'm a global award winner, I'm a European award winner, and I've won numerous awards, and I've done numerous training roles as well. Now, I was giving a presentation this morning, and we were asked to give one famous thing that no one knew about me. So I said that I was a third cousin of Jedward. So I don't know whether that helped or hindered me, but that was my claim to fame. So I'll pass over to Kevin. He can introduce himself and give you the full lowdown in terms of what makes him so great.
So great, you're repeating yourself. Okay. I see we just lost 7 people when you said you were related to Jedward there. Okay. Straightforward accountant, involved in property like a lot of people. I run several businesses. I've made them profitable, turned them into loss-making, and turned them back again for various reasons. But I'm very interested in business. I study it all the time. I've worked with Derek for some years. I have quite a number of staff working for me, and I have an interesting bunch of clients that keep me sharp. So that's really it. But effectively, business training, no matter what level you're at, for your children or for yourself, is essential going forward, because not alone was credit so easy to be got in the last 10 years, it'll be harder to be got in the next 10. So you need to be trained on how to handle it. So we'll be dealing with what makes businesses tick now going forward this evening. So back to you, Derek.
Okay. So just briefly, I suppose one of the things that we cover with all presentations we give is a very quick slide, and it's called Above or Below the Line. And one of the frustrations that I see with business owners as I go about my business on a daily basis is that while everyone is looking for more clients and everyone wants more sales and everyone wants more profit, very few people are actually doing anything about it. Now, so you've got to, as a business owner, you've got to take ownership of the fact that you have a business that requires sales every day, that requires activity, and that requires a profit at the end of the year. You have to look at what you're doing every day, and there has to be a certain amount of accountability built into that, because quite often business owners are dedicating little or no time to marketing. And the main reason for that is they don't know where to start, and they don't know what to do. And you're responsible for the results that you get in your business, full stop. What we find in a lot of cases is that people are blaming the economy, they're blaming the recession, they're blaming the competitors, they're blaming prices. They're making excuses for not doing anything, or some people are simply in denial that they need to do anything. So if you're serious about growing your business and growing your revenues, and you're serious about wanting new clients and new customers, then you've got to ask yourself at the end of every day, what did I actually do today to try and drive more business and more clients into my business? And in the registration forms as well, one of the things that a lot of people put down on their registration forms is they wanted more business. But I don't think, and I was at a meeting this morning with 25 other business owners, and apart from that one meeting per week, very few of them were doing anything else constructive in the week in terms of marketing. And I just don't think it's enough. So we call people who operate above the line victors, we call people who operate below the line victims. So if you want to be successful in your business and you want to actually achieve success, then you've got to get above the line. And that's in your mindset as well as your behavior, and in terms of if you've got any staff, they've got to be above the line as well. Tonight's webinar is about marketing, so if you ask 100 people what marketing is, you'll get 100 different answers. But quite simply, it's basically the process of continuous communication of your company's message to your prospects and customers in a way that compels them to buy time after time. A lot of people associate marketing with getting the customers in the first time, but marketing is about the continuous communication. You have to market to your existing customers, you have to market to your new customers, you have to market to your own staff, and you have to market to everyone that has anything to do with your company, because you want them to be advocates of what you do. So it encompasses a huge amount of different work in different aspects, and there's so much of it that's within your own control. But again, people associate marketing with having to spend money on newspaper advertising or press advertising or some of the more expensive things. Tonight is about looking at how you market your business without really having to spend any money at all. Okay, so if there's any other definitions that anyone wants to share with us, please do as we go through the evening. But it is very much about your ability to tell a story that people buy into and where they want to be part of your organization. Excuse me. The golden rules, we kind of set off at the beginning by saying there's going to be kind of 7 golden rules, but here they are as far as I'm concerned when I'm working with small businesses throughout Ireland. The first golden rule is that there has to be a certain marketing plan for the business. You have to kind of write down what it is you're going to do, who you're going to go after, what's your best client look like, where do they come from, where are they located. You have to have some sort of a plan. The most important thing then, to make your marketing free, we must test and measure what we do every day. Now Kevin will go through what testing and measuring is, but we must do this. This is a golden rule, and it's where most people fail. So it's probably the most important thing. We have to test and measure. We must also train ourselves and our team to be excellent marketers. So what I would say there is that's about customer service, it's about looking after our customers, it's about being consistent in what we do. That's also marketing. So, if you have a team member that's not good with customers and you allow them to be with customers every day, well then you're going to cost your business money. So, make sure that the message you deliver is consistent. The other way to ensure that your marketing becomes free over time is you have to build a database that is your very own, built from the people that make contact with your business. And databases are even more important right now because we can market to our database for free using email, using Facebook, and using all the online strategies. And even marketing to our database using old style mail is also not very expensive compared to your having to advertise in papers and on radio. The other next golden rule is marketing should be your daily ritual in your business. You have to be able to say at the end of every day, did I do marketing today? How much effort do we put into it? How much time do we dedicate to it? If I do time studies with clients where we say, okay, what did you spend your time on? And invariably it's on stuff that actually doesn't matter a jot to the actual business or to the profitability of the business. It's stuff, it's like comfort zone stuff. So marketing should be daily ritual. You should be able to say at the end of the day that today we marketed ourselves in these ways and we attracted this number of clients into our business today, or we made contact with this number of existing clients for our business today. But if you asked 10 business owners tomorrow, how much marketing did you do yesterday, they'd all be very quiet because they're not doing enough of it at all. Going back 3, 4, 5, or 6 years ago, it was a lot easier to get clients because they would come in and knock at your door and say, can I do business with you, please? Right now, that's not an option. We have to go and hunt for the business. When we get the business and we farm it, it all involves marketing. The next lesson, lesson 6, is we must learn all we can about ourselves and our business. And the reason I'm saying that is that if we want to market properly, we have to be very clear about what value we bring to the marketplace, so that we can market ourselves on stuff other than price. The biggest frustration for business owners today is that there's a price war going on, and they get drawn into the price war because they don't know why they're different to the next guy. That's a big problem. The final one then, slightly tricky for a lot of people in Ireland, is you've got to get passionate about your business. You have to love what you do, and that has to come out in everything you say and everything you do, and it has to come out in everything that you say and do to your team. And they have to exude it as well, because passion equals profit. That's what sells. People buy on emotion, believe it or not, and they'll deal with you if they feel as though you care about them and care about your business as well. So again, going back to the initial concept, marketing is all about having a plan and making sure that you're delivering a message to your customers that you want them to hear every day. Okay, I'll pass over to Kevin. He'll go through some testing and measuring for you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Derek. Very good. Okay, I mean, just a couple of introductory points. The first thing is marketing starts with yourself. We said this about coming into Christmas there. A lot of people took their foot off the gas in their business simply because Christmas was coming and it was time to go on the holidays and get ready for Santa. But that's exactly the time when your competitors take the foot off the pedal. So Christmas is come and gone now, but it will come around again. So any opportunity, and there's a new one coming down the tracks, which is summer. When people say summer's coming, kids are off, I'm going on holidays, that's the time you should really be accelerating whatever marketing plan you put together. Because when the competitors are asleep or away or in the pub or wherever they are, that's when you need to be, cutting into their action, So, but anyway, in any marketing campaign, establish the costs. Okay, I'll start with the zero cost. Let's talk about the stakes for a minute. You can put an ad in the paper because you say, I want to spend money to get more clients. The ad might cost you, or actually recently I'll go with a radio ad, it cost €1,000 to advertise for tenants for a particular office building. Now, we had a way of measuring the ad because they had to go, number one, to a voicemail, or number two, to a website. And we could see the amount of hits. And there were, in 1 week, 26 people viewed it about 50 times. But not one person made the call. Now, that problem was with the ad, that they didn't make the call or they didn't like something, but we haven't surveyed them yet. But it certainly cost €1,000 to get no one. So there was a cost. So if you did an ad inside the last year and it cost you, say, €100 and you got one customer, it costs you €100 to buy that customer. So that's how simple it is to establish the cost of any marketing campaign. But effectively, the sales required to break even. If you're going to spend money, work out how much you've got to sell in order to cover the cost of it. So if you are going to spend money, we say it's €500, what does it cost you to either do your service or to sell your product? So if you're selling cars and you make €1,000 in every car, and you put ads in CarZone, and the ad's going to cost you 2,000, you need to sell 2 cars just to cover the ad. So that's as simple as that is. But do the numbers. An awful lot of people throw money at advertising, and that is not marketing, by the way, but they throw money at ads, being busy. And at the end of it, they walk into the likes of me, who is an accountant, and we look at the amount of money spent on advertising, and yet the business is in a loss. There might have been plenty of sales, but there wasn't money made out of them. So it's the boring thing, but sit down and do the numbers. And a lot of people don't do that. So that's where we go into establishing the sales needed to make it worthwhile and run the campaign and measure the results. So rather than look back at the past and the mistakes that were made, think about the next move. And for instance, the simplest marketing campaign, I'll do a few easy ones. Let's just call it a shop or an office building or a hotel or a bed and breakfast. The simplest thing is have the windows clean, have the door open, have everyone in there told you're to smile at customers coming in the front door. A fellow who worked for a fast food chain said sales went up 15% when he got the staff to smile. Okay, and that's as simple as it is, because people like being around happy people, not someone who will depress you. There's a bed and breakfast next door to the Castle Court in Mayo, and I've never been inside it, but outside of it there's nothing but hanging baskets, flowers. It's a wash of well-tended blooms and flowers all year. And I do know that, if I was going up to Westwood, I'd like to stay there because it looks good from the outside. And that person hasn't cost them anything to mind the flowers apart from the time. And you're going to find this evening that most of the zero cost that we're talking about in marketing it's zero cost in terms of writing checks or paying over money. But what is spent is your time. But in view of the fact that you need to spend time on the business running it as opposed to it running you, that's an investment in the future. So just to recap very fast, before you do anything in marketing, see what you can do for free. Have the staff clean the windows. Have the staff sweep beside the door if you don't want to do it yourself. Don't pay people for this. If you run a clean operation, that is marketing. And the same when you walk into any hotel. If there's a bad atmosphere in the foyer, that people aren't coming over to you or asking you, can they help you, or offering you a menu, or there's no crack in the bar, you don't want to stay there. So marketing starts, the zero-cost marketing starts with you, the staff, the way your premises is, the way your car is, the way your van is, the way your invoice to them is. Because on the invoice you can say, all repeat customers get 10% off. You don't have to say it; it's there in black and white. So, but keep it coming at them. But anything should be measured like that. Aside from that, the next important thing is all of your existing customers represent 100% of your sales. Now, most of the people who sign on tonight had this thing, they want new customers, they want new customers. But you've got to look at who you've got. You know, number one, the people who you have are spending money with you right now if they're paying you. And, you know, it's easier for them to deal with you the next time because they know who you are, they know your number, they know what your service is like. But there's more money out of them if there's two items here now. One, they need to know the services you offer. Because 99% of people who are in business don't broadcast that clearly enough to their customers. So it could be a pub, but it does food. It could be an electrician, but he does geothermal heating. It could be a sign guy, and he does nursery cartoons for the walls, something like that. You know, it's very important that people know what you sell. And most businesses think the customers know what they sell, but they actually don't. So there's a lifetime value on everyone, okay? So for every person who does business with you, if it's an accountant, there could be 3,000 a year out of every person. Over 10 years, that's 30,000 if there's no inflation. That's simple. If it's a car person, car salesman, maybe people, you know, change cars every 5 years when the warranty is up, and they're going to spend 20,000. So just work out what each customer is worth to you, and there is a potential amount of sales you could have. You can measure by year or every couple of years. The acquisition cost, which is the first item there, I kind of touched on that already. If you're spending money on advertising, okay, if you do an ad and it's 100 quid and 5 people react to the ad, it's cost you 20 euros to buy them. That's the acquisition cost. What you want to do is get that down, and by not spending money on silly ads that don't work is an important part on that. Just by the way, anyone who does have running ads, be it radio, be it on the side of their vans, be it on, you know, in their shop or restaurant, it's important to know, is that ad working? And this is where you measure it. Okay. Now, a couple of little tips. Teletext. People have forgotten about teletext. It's very cheap. Okay. It has a huge market out there. But if you put an ad on there, and let's just pretend it's a hotel or a bed and breakfast, and stay with us for 2 nights B&B for 200 euros with a dinner thrown in per person. A good little tip there is, instead of having called Kevin, which is me, you know, the phone rings, going to speak to Kevin, you know, that phone hopefully is ringing all the time like that. Have a dummy name there. Could I speak to Paddy? Now, there's no Paddy in the place, but we all know when someone rings up and they want to speak to Paddy, that inquiry has come from that ad. Now, that's one way of measuring your marketing. The same way when you see an ad in the paper, or you just say to people, you know, I'm going to send you over to Bill over there. Bill does great desserts. Tell him I sent you. My name is Jimmy. Now, my name is Kevin. But you tell them the name is Jimmy. So Bill across the road knows that you've sent them over because you've tipped him off. Anyone who comes in here and says Jimmy sent you, you know, make sure you give them a good dessert, and, you know, and because they're staying with me. And that's a little code sign. So these are little tricks that don't cost anything. It's been a bit cute and of vital importance. You've got to stay healthy because you need your mind sharp to think of these things. You know, but they will make you money. Not immediately, but pretty quick. And the last point is, and we're going back to an early webinar, is you need to know your costs. Because when you're running a marketing campaign, if it's a simple thing, I saw one lately, it was a situation where people were giving a discount, okay? And we'll say it wasn't, we'll just pretend it was on shirts. No, it wasn't on shirts. But if it cost 20 euros to buy in a shirt and you sold it for 60, the discount, which was in the store, which was a bit shocking, was 50% off, okay? So that meant what they were selling for 60, they were now selling for 30. And in a normal, if they were running their business correctly, and I mean that deliberately, I'm choosing my words deliberately there, if they're running their business correctly, they would be selling the 60 euro shirts for 60 euro, okay? But now they're being forced to sell 60 euro shirts for 30 euro, so they've got to sell 4 times as many shirts. So what didn't work in the first place to sell the 60 euro shirt, they're going to try and attract people in and sell them the 60 euro shirt for 30 euros and work twice as hard to make the money they should have made in the first place. Meanwhile, they're carrying staff, they're carrying rates, they're carrying electricity, carrying accountants, carrying solicitors, carrying banks. It's a recipe for a long-term disaster. If not short-term end to everything, you know. So a few items there. One, work out, you know, what each customer's worth to you, mind them. Lifetime value is just, keep them with you, keep them coming, and we're going to come back to this in a second. But yeah, think before you act. Back to you, Derek.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly flick to an example here. So if you can you see my spreadsheet here? So this is an example of a client that measured their marketing over a period of a year. Now, the things colored in green down at the bottom there, collectively they cost nearly 40,000 euro. But you can see there from this column here that I'm just about to highlight now, that the revenue from them hardly amounted to 40,000 euro. Now, in their business, because it was a kind of an annual business, they could only make the decision whether or not to do it in the year that they ran it. But what they could do the following year is they could take that same 40,000 euro and invest it up here on a thing like the website, which they could see immediately had a brilliant inquiry rate. And in addition to that, in addition to having a brilliant inquiry rate, it actually had a fairly decent conversion rate as well, and a fairly decent level of sales that you can see at the top. The other mistake they made, just as an example, and I'm not saying that Golden Pages doesn't work, but Golden Pages generated a lot of inquiries to them, so they thought that Golden Pages was working. But you can see here that the conversion rate from Golden Pages was only 8%. So only 8% of the 184 inquiries actually converted into customers. So their revenue from their 10,000 euro investment in Golden Pages was only 14,000. Now, what that meant the following year was that they could take their marketing budget and be a lot cleverer about how they invested it. So they could actually drive more business through the channels that worked best. So that's an example of a client that tested and measured everything. And the big frustration is they think that they're too busy to measure. Well, when you say that to yourself, you basically say, I'm too busy to actually care about the profit that I'm making in my business. And we're saying that's a goal and no-no. And if your staff come back to you and say they're too busy to measure the effectiveness of the work, well then you need to put your foot down and say, no, this is what it's all about. It's about measurement. It's about making informed decisions based on actual results that we got in our business. And if you want to drive down the marketing cost in your business, you have to measure the effectiveness of everything. Because some things work, some things don't work, and they work differently for every business. And it's up to you to measure and to start that immediately. So that's hugely important in your business. I'm just going to flick back to the presentation. Now, we were talking as well about marketing, about it affecting all of the areas of the business. People on previous webinars will have seen this profit equation in terms of how do you grow your business. So everyone, again, I'll just quickly go through it. Everyone, again, is very concerned about the profit they make, the revenue they make, and the number of customers they have. And like Kevin said earlier, a lot of people on the call tonight put on the bottom their registration, they wanted more customers. So that includes marketing to get leads. Market also includes conversion rate, which is all about your ability to present yourself when a customer presents himself to you. In terms of number of transactions, then that's marketing to your database. So that's hugely important in terms of growing your revenue. If you take your average sale then, marketing plays a huge role there because you're marketing, like Kevin said, the broad spectrum of products and services you actually sell. You're offering upsell or you're offering cross sales, where there's complementary products. That's involved in marketing as well, whether it's copywriting, whether it's training. Training your sales team is marketing. Then in terms of margin, you can really get your marketing to work well there by product positioning, by merchandising. All that boosts margin by putting products in the right place. So marketing applies to every aspect of your business, and it's very important to remember that. Okay, so again, we put it up last week. This is the order which you address these things, and the same is true of marketing. So you look at your cost first. You market then in terms of your average sale, which is make sure that your customers can see everything that you have and make sure they're presented correctly. Then you look at your conversion rate. That's about training your team in sales and making sure the message is consistent. The big message in conversion is consistent, and you do that by introducing scripts to your business. So if, for example, I'm excellent on the phone and my colleague is not as good as me, well then, to get consistency, we have to copy what I do and teach that guy to do the same thing. It's that simple. Yet too many people are left to their own devices in businesses, and it costs you, the business owner money. So the choice is yours. Do you want that money or not? And that's where marketing comes in. It's making this decision to actually put a bit of structure into your business around your marketing. So what are the actual strategies? Well, just before we get to that, we're going to focus on strategies that work effectively and efficiently. So that puts you over in the Thrive box there on your screen. So that's a brilliant plan executed brilliantly. That's what we want. You can have a lot of efficient strategies that are ineffective. So you get a whim, you do things on a whim, and you die quickly. And you place ads in the paper because all your competitors are advertising on the paper. You haven't done any planning, you haven't done any layout, you haven't decided where it's going to go. You die quickly. Inefficient strategies, marketed ineffectively, you die slowly because you're giving it no thought. Doing things effectively but inefficiently, you'll survive. So what we want to focus on are strategies that are effective and efficient. And you need to be asking yourself that question every day as well. Am I working effectively and efficiently in my marketing of my business? There's always a catch with zero cost. And the catch in this case is your time. So if you want to market your business for nothing, you have to put time into it. What we're trying to do is we're trying to teach people, what to do so that they learn it once, implement it once, and then it can be replicated by anyone. But too often, people will not give it the time. And like I said at the beginning, if you actually did a time study of yourself in your business for a week, you would be amazed at how little time you spend on marketing or looking after existing customers or trying to get new customers in. In fact, I did a time study with one client, and in 100 hours, which was 100 hours measured over 10 days, he had spent 1 hour customer-facing time. He had spent half an hour on the financials of his business. He had spent 15 hours driving his van, and he had spent 15 hours cutting up timber. He was manufacturing kitchens. And guess what he had? A cash flow crisis. Because he wasn't collecting his money, he wasn't marketing properly, and he wasn't doing anything involved in sales because he himself felt that he was a tradesman. What we're saying in this particular situation, if you want to go zero cost, you're going to have to trade some of your time. What we're finding right now is that people have that bit of extra time. So we're saying use your time to market. You need to be marketing from the moment you get up to the time you finish work at the end of the day. It's all about marketing. You need to be policing your team, training the team. That's marketing. You need to be setting the standard. That's marketing. And you need to be helping your team to understand what your business is about. That's also marketing. They're all zero cost, actual money out of you, no money going out of your business. And because of that, you don't feel any pain associated, but you need to associate the positive upside that we bring. Like Kevin said, make sure your doors are open. Make sure your windows are clean if you have a retail business. Make sure there's a welcome for people when they make contact. Make sure your phone is answered on time. Make sure what the person says when they answer the phone is correct for your business, and it gives people a sense of what they're about. All of those things are zero-cost marketing strategies, but it does require your time to set the standard, create the vision for your business, and then train your team. You will get great results that way, but it does tax your brain a little bit. We're saying you need to do that if you want to realize profit at the end of the day. Now there's two types of marketing in terms of zero cost. There's online and offline. Online is becoming hugely popular. We see it every day. The ones that we're going to cover in terms of offline marketing, because offline is still far greater than online for most local businesses around Ireland right now. So we have to concentrate on those. We won't ignore online. We'll cover that later on. Very quickly, the first, and everyone will say this, most people's business grow by word of mouth. Now we say that you need to cultivate word of mouth, and you need to make sure that people leaving your business are not just customers of your business, they need to be raving fans of your business. So you need, because the challenge you're faced with always is that if someone gets good service in your business, they may or they may not tell someone about it. If someone gets bad service, they're guaranteed to tell 10 people about it. So for you, you have to deliver excellent service for them to tell one. So you need to make sure that the service you deliver is excellent, consistent, so that the people leave having got more than they expected in terms of service. And that all that may need to be is a smile. It doesn't need to be much, it doesn't cost you much, but it has to be consistent, and you've got to lead the way. The next strategy, offline strategy, is generating referrals. Referrals is slightly different to word of mouth in that it's you basically eliciting referrals from business from other people. So if, for example, I want to get an introduction to a window manufacturer in Galway, and I know that you know about them, I might say to you, I'd like to get to meet that window manufacturer in Galway. Could you give me an introduction to them? Or you might say, oh, I know that Derek wants an introduction there. I'll go and set that up for him. That's a referral. Because people like to get referrals and they like to give referrals. But it's slightly more than word of mouth in that you're kind of putting yourself on the line, or you're asking someone to put themselves on the line for you. But it's a very important strategy. The group that I was talking about earlier on, which is called Business Network International, is a group that meets every week. And we try and get referrals for each other in our daily work. Sometimes it works brilliantly, sometimes it doesn't, but we're committed to try and get referrals for other businesses. There's all that now at BNI, there is a cost associated with that, but there are other non-structured networking groups that work equally well. So referral is very important. The next thing then is focus on your customer service. When is the last time that you actually had a team meeting where you discussed the level of service you actually deliver? One of my clients last week had started introducing team meetings, and the vibe and the positive feedback from all the staff to the team meeting was excellent. He had another one yesterday. He's still positive. Sales will double for the following day after the meeting last week. So because if that's what they want, staff want to know that you love them as well. And they want to know that there's certain standards that you want to maintain. So focus on customer service. Take a half an hour a week, take a half an hour a fortnight to focus on it. It's a zero-cost marketing strategy. It does take a bit of brain power. It will yield you results time after time. Excellent follow-up. This is crucial. If you're in the business where you have to issue quotes for business, or where someone has gone away to think about it, but you have their contact details, it's important to follow that up. It's important to let them know in advance that you will be calling them to see what their decision is, or if you can answer any more questions. So many people issue quotes with no follow-up. I'll give you an example. I'm working with an engineer at the moment. He has had 35 to 40 quotes in for a specific job that he's doing for a building contractor. He's quoting for a building contractor. Not one of the 35 people who have issued in the quote, which took them ages to do, has followed him up. So there's no positive vibe coming from any of them. Do they want it or not? Now, the one person who does follow up is going to get on the shortlist, guaranteed. The next one is building and using a database. It doesn't matter what you have right now. If you have docket slips, if you have all paper-based stuff on yellow post-it notes, start building your contact database. First name, last name, address if you have it, email and mobile is all you need. And if you want to go that one bit further, start putting on there what it is you've sold them or what they buy. Because once you understand what people buy, you can then start to suggest other products to them. But whether you're marketing to 5, 10, 5,000, 10,000, you need to have your database. And start slowly. The next one then is a bit more complicated, strategic alliances, and that's basically trying to identify other businesses that you could work with that could where you both mutually gain. So an example of a strategic alliance, if you like, is I'm delivering this presentation tonight with Kevin Barry from Kevin Barry & Company Accountants. We've formed a loose alliance where we work together, and hopefully the work that we do will yield us both business. That's an alliance. We have common client profiles. So they're the zero-cost marketing strategies that work best for most businesses out there. Now, going back to my previous slide, they all take time, they all take a bit of effort, but they cost you nothing. And they will yield you results time after time. I'll pass over to Kevin for the zero-cost online.
Yeah, I thought you were going to break into that song by Cyndi Lauper there for a second, Derek. Time after time. But a very important point, just to finish off on Derek's side there, building the database. If you've a couple of people came in to me trying to sell their businesses inside the last 6 months, and one of the first questions I asked them was, okay, you've all these sales and all that, who are your customers? And they blankly looked back. Okay, so I sent them both away to say, I need you to get a name and email or phone number of all your customers, because how do I know that all these people are going to come back to you? So no matter what business you're in, okay, if you can produce a list that is your customers, that is worth something. You know, people buy what they call leads, you know, but if you have a list of customers, names, addresses, emails, that adds huge credibility. If not, an accountant like me will make sure that the seller of a business only gets a small fraction, I'm talking less than 50% of what they're asking. You're reading about all these pubs at the moment that there's no one in. Okay, so if all those pubs just did a simple thing of keeping a database and marketed to their people, and I'll go straight on now in a second to the social media, at least you'd say, well, that pub has a list of 2,000 people who have come into it in the last 2 years. At least we can market to them via text message, emails, Facebook, or whatever. So build that database. It's boring, it's slow, delegate people to do it, train people to do it, build it. Okay, it's money waiting to be collected and shook from the tree. Anyway, the zero-cost marketing, I mean, these are free. I expect most people on this webinar tonight are familiar with every word they're reading there, but I'll go with a couple. I'll jump around a bit. Email. If you don't have an email address these days, you're nobody, and I mean that very deliberately. You've got to have an email address. They're free. It's easy to get them. If you don't know how to get them, a 10-year-old kid will show you how to get them. Okay, but have an email address. Put it on your business card, the side of your car, on your menus. You know, make it easy for people to contact you. Okay, and as you're building the database, it's easy to send messages out to people as to what's happening. Also, you don't have to do it now about what's happening now. You can schedule emails that if you write an email now to say St. Patrick's Day party or St. Valentine's Day party starts at 8 p.m. on Saturday night or whatever date up in the future you're rigging things up. You can write the email now and you can give it a date that it's to go out to everybody, so that you're not telling them now about the Christmas New Year's Eve party that you have next year. You know, you can schedule these things ahead. And that's marketing. At least you can plan the year, because you know certain time's going to be busy, and you want to be the busiest and take as much money off people. If they come out with 100 quid, you want to take 100 quid off them. Don't let them go home with money on them if they're prepared to spend more. And that reacts to every business that's out there. Facebook, for anyone who's not been on it, I mean, it's taken over the world. I can't remember, is it meant to be 10% of the world's population is on this now. But if you don't know it, get on it and have a look. It's harmless. You hear people giving out. It's just simply a way to show friends of yours, I'll call them friends, what you're doing and what you're up to. And you write one thing such as, I'm going to sleep tonight at 9 o'clock. All your friends get that message. So if it's from a business point of view, if you're Joe's plastering service, it could be, you know, we have a gap. We are available for any small jobs in the week commencing the 10th of February. 10 euros an hour, special deal. Everybody will see that if they're friends of yours. And you simply just invite them to be friends and they click a box and that's it. It doesn't cost a penny. And it's a major phenomenon. It might fizzle out in 2 or 3 years and something else will replace it, which could be the next one. Twitter, which is even more immediate. It's like chat going on all the time. And just take a look at these things, www.twitter.com, begin to get a feel for them, and move on to the next one, which is LinkedIn, far more professional. You put your name, your address, your picture, your CV, what you're interested in business-wise. It's extremely businessy. And again, you'd be surprised who's on it. There'll be people abroad, people who are here, who just want to stay in touch with you from a business point of view, with a view to using you from a business point of view. Extremely businessy, whereas the two above that are quite social. Blogs, it's just yap. People, you know, the subjects go on there and people go in there and yap about it. Extremely, you know, normal for, I'll go for the 10-year-old kid up. All the youngsters, if any of you have kids and they're in the age 10 to 20, they can actually set these up for you in the flash, wouldn't even notice it, you know. Website, I'll go straight up to the email again. If you don't have a website now, get one. No two ways about it. And the bigger the better, because the bigger the website, the more easy it is to find. But you'll wear yourself out telling yourself about your business. It's easier to say, and I've trained my own staff this, if they say, why should we do business with you? And the answer typically is, and we stand by this, we'll save you more money than we'll ever charge you. That's simple enough. And if the next question is, how do you do that? The standard answer here is, check out the website. Okay, so it takes all the pressure off. So a website is like a brochure. Nobody, and I mean nobody, should be spending money with a printer printing brochures. Few reasons. One, it's highly expensive. Second of all, they date very quickly, you know. And thirdly, they're not flexible. You can't change them. So I don't know how many brochures I've thrown out belong to people. I'm sure most on this calendar or on this webinar have thrown out brochures as well, whether they're their own brochures or other people's. All these flyers. That day is gone. It's all websites. People are on iPhones. They'll look at it. They'll make an instant decision. So get a website. Again, it can be done by yourself on your own, slow or quickly, for free. Okay, and can always pass on that information. Forums are similar enough to blogs. It's where people have a common subject and they yap and they check. It could be where is there a good plumber to be found in Clifton, or in Galway, or in Dublin, or in Cork, or in London, and people will throw in different suggestions there. And even worse, they might put your name in there to say don't use this guy, so you need to get off that forum. For instance, there's one about solicitors, rateyoursolicitor.com, and okay, it's very uncritical, the internet, but if you're a solicitor, you don't want to be on that, unless there's something good about yourself. So there's a couple. These cost nothing. You'll wear yourself out if you do too much of them all. You want to pick one or two, put them into your marketing plan, attack a few of them in the next 90 days, and then move to the next. You don't need them all, but you certainly need a sprinkling of those. You definitely need email. You definitely need websites, and then it's a choice after that. Facebook would probably be the easiest, or Twitter, or LinkedIn, depending on your business. But certainly know about them. Back to you, Derek.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. And I guess in terms of some real-life specific examples, we could use an example of, if you take an accountant, like where they use an online service, what they were able to do in that situation was tweak their website every day, to optimize it for the key search terms. And just by being able to do that for nothing themselves, it made them move up in the rankings and start to get inquiries on the website. For business-to-business referrals, an example would be, where, today, for example, at our referral group, I stood up and said I wanted an introduction to X, Y, and Z in this particular business. And another guy at the meeting said, I know him, he's my brother-in-law, I'll do an introduction for you. That was free. All I had to do was ask for it. Retail examples of marketing, it's so simple. It's basically your shop front, your staff training, your doors open, your merchandising. Those simple things, all within your control, all free, but so many people don't do them every day. Our simple signage outside your door is all you need, with an arrow pointing in, an arrow saying you're open for business, making sure there's no rubbish outside your business. It's all marketing, it's all free, but people ignore it. They'll let rubbish build up outside the door saying, well, that's the council's responsibility. And my answer is, well, maybe it is, but it's costing you money. And that's marketing, because people are forming an opinion about you based on how you're keeping your retail premises. People form opinions very quickly, but they keep those opinions forever and a day. Okay.
Sorry, I might just come in on one item there. Sorry for speaking over you. Just a good program to watch is a program called Selling Houses. It's on, I can't remember which channel it's on offhand, but if you look at Sky, you'll find it quick enough. A guy called Andrew Winters. And auctioneers are going through a torrid time at the moment, and everyone belonging to the biz, such as the bank who might finance the house, the owner who bought the house, and people who might be owed money on the furniture in there. But he always is extremely straight with his customers, and he tells them what they've got to do to get their house sold. And they'll have an asking price. He'll look at comparables. But basically, small money ends up being spent on the house to make it more sellable. It could be pulling up the carpet and painting the floors. It could be putting some timber along by the hallway, because it just needs to lift the hallway a small bit. It could be doing something in the garden. It could be putting lino down in the kitchen or regrouting the tiles. Now that costs money, and sometimes the people don't have it. But let's just throw this business-to-business referral that's out there. The way he does it is he gets a team. It could be an electrician, a plumber, and we'll call it a tiler. And he gets them in for literally a day, never any more than 2 days. They've decluttered the house, they do a couple of little enhancements, and the deal is that, the work might be worth $2,000. The guys will get $4,000 if the house sells in the next month. And of course the auctioneer is in on it because he's brought in the fellas. So you've got an auctioneer who's under pressure to sell a house. He can't sell it because it's full of rubbish, and the people won't do a couple of small things to make it sellable. So the auctioneer brings in, this is your business-to-business referral, brings in a small team, they do the work effectively for free, but they are paid their percentage when the house is sold, because the auctioneer now has a realistic chance of selling the house for the right price. So just wanted to throw that one in. It's very topical, but take a look at Selling Houses. It's the lessons of it, and with this Andrew Winters, what he illustrates can be brought into every business that's there. Back to you, Derek. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's all right. So at the end of every webinar that we do, we have a special offer. We have a special offer again tonight. And the special offer again is, let's do a marketing critique of your business. So either Kevin or myself will spend time with you, or either directly with you or looking at what you're doing in terms of marketing, and we'll do a critique back to you in terms of how well you're marketing your business and what you should do in order to change the marketing of your business that is within your grasp. It can be done at no cost. It will have a huge impact on your business very quickly. So again, we're making that available to anyone who's on the webinar tonight. Email me now at derek@wiredactioncoach.com, and we'll put you down on our list of people to come and deliver that to you. The value of that service is $4.90, but tonight for you it's free. So the main thing is put the request into us tonight, because we do appreciate you taking the time to come on these webinars and put some of the strategies that we give you to good use. I'm just looking at some questions that are coming in here as well, and I suppose the basic question is, all this is very fine, but I don't know where to get started is one question. I think the main thing is just do one thing. Learn one thing, master it, and then move on to your next thing. Don't try to do everything at once, because what happens in that situation is that people, all the time, they try to do everything at once, they become frustrated by the whole thing, and then they give up completely. I have another question here saying, okay, I'm not very good at promoting my own business. I'm actually quite shy about it. Okay, well, the most important thing then is to write down what makes your business, write down what it is that makes your business different. Start putting that out to your team. Start putting it on your website, and eventually the confidence about what you do will actually come from you as you speak. Practice, practice, practice. Practice with your team. Practice role playing. Another question here is, okay, can we, how do you actually get all the people to say the same thing? The simple answer to that is using scripts. So scripting is basically about identifying what works best for your best sales member, and then writing it down, and then doing training and recording. Okay, so there's very simple things that can be done. There's another question here, can I get the slides? Yes, you can. I'll email you the slides. Just send me an email, and I'll email the slides on to you just to help you. But request the time as well, because the reason we're doing these webinars is this is our attempt at marketing to people out there. We're putting ourselves out there. We're saying, let's show you what we can do. So we want an opportunity to come and meet you as well at no cost to you, and hopefully there's business in it for us at the end of the day. But there's absolutely no obligation to you at all. We want you to get maximum benefit, and we want you to take advantage of it and request the session. So one of the quickest online marketing methods, which are the quickest of the online marketing methods, which is the quickest? Well, the ones that I suppose there's no quick answer to that. You can do very specific Facebook advertising, which is very controlled and very measured. And it needn't cost you that much. You can do a very good marketing campaign testing on Facebook for about €25. You can gauge people's response by requesting feedback on Facebook. They're the quickest online. It depends on how big a following you have on Facebook and Twitter. But even if you have no following on Facebook or Twitter, the quickest thing to do is just do advertising on Facebook. I spent some money there in January advertising for a catering company. He got some catering jobs out of it, but not enough to justify the cost every week. So what we have to do is we have to go back and change his target market. I mentioned about a networking group. What is it about, and how would I get involved? Do they give good results? Okay, the networking group that I'm in is involved in Clare Galway. We meet every week. It's called BNI. The best thing I would say is come along as a visitor. You can come along as a visitor for nothing for 2 or 3 weeks. Do they give good results? No, they don't give any results. The results that you get will be a reflection of the amount of effort that you put into it, and the law of precision takes over then. So if you put effort into it, you get the same results back. But they do work because it's very structured. People are very clear about what you want, and it's just something that you effectively have a team of salespeople out working for you every day of the week. So it's important to be involved in that. Some of the members in the group, believe it or not, are members because they get an opportunity to meet other people that they wouldn't get during the week. So people join for different reasons, but they do work. There's a compliment here. Thank you for the webinar. Most of the talk I knew, but I'd forgotten or neglected. I feel more motivated and focused again. Thanks again. So thank you for whoever put that comment in. That's good. So with that, we're kind of over time at the moment now. So I'm going to wrap it up. So put your email in if you want us to come and do the marketing critique of your business. We'll happily do that. and we look forward to communicating with you the next time. Okay, so that's it from Kevin and me. Unless you have something further to say, Kevin, I'll bid everyone good night.
Yeah, I'll bid them good night, but I will say build your database, write down what customers you have, and if you haven't heard from them in 90 days, at the very least, give them a phone call, write them a card, tell them that you're still there, tell them the services you offer. Start with the ones you have. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you everyone, and good night.